Have you ever found yourself speaking without thinking, only to realize later that your words hurt those you love? In today's video, we're diving into a topic that's incredibly important as we grow older: how our words can shape or break family bonds. You might not realize it, but the things you say to your children can affect the relationship for years to come. Stick with us until the end, because I'm going to share 5 powerful lessons on what to avoid saying, and how understanding this can help you foster stronger, more loving connections with your family. These insights will not only save you from regret, but will also bring peace and harmony into your family life, so don't miss out on these valuable lessons. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Sentence 1. I have money. My children don't need to take care of me. An old saying goes, wealthy parents can give their children everything, but they cannot give themselves eternal life. This timeless wisdom carries a deep truth, emphasizing that material wealth, though valuable, cannot provide everything we need in life. As we age, it becomes crucial to save and plan for our future so that we don't become a burden on our loved ones. These words are more than just advice. They serve as a reminder to value our independence while recognizing the importance of family ties and mutual support. I've come to appreciate this truth deeply, particularly as I reflect on my own experiences in life. Now, at 75 years old, I've lived through a great deal, and the lessons passed down from older generations resonate with me more than ever. In my younger years, I thought I knew everything. The idealistic views I held seemed to make sense, and I assumed that I could always rely on my strengths and decisions. But as time has passed and I've grown older, I realized just how much I didn't understand back then. My husband and I both worked as government officials, and we had built a stable and comfortable life for ourselves. We were prudent with our finances, saving carefully and investing wisely to ensure that we would be able to support ourselves in our later years. When our son got married, we were more than willing to use all our savings to help him purchase a home, believing that this was a part of our duty as parents. At the time, I felt proud to do so. It seemed like the natural thing for us to help him get started in life. After that, my husband and I decided to live independently, free to explore the world through travel and experiences, without wanting to impose on our children. Our desire to not burden them was strong. We were content with the idea that we had saved enough to take care of ourselves. I remember telling my daughter-in-law at the time, "We have money. Our children don't need to take care of us." It was meant to be a statement of independence, a declaration that we could stand on our own. But I didn't realize how this sentiment, though well-intentioned, could distance me from my family. I didn't foresee that these words might build an invisible wall between us. As the years passed, my daughter-in-law gave birth to a child, and I made it clear that I didn't intend to take on the responsibility of helping with raising the grandchild. I believed it was not my place to interfere in my son's family life. This decision upset my daughter-in-law, and for a while, there was tension between us. Though neighbors and friends advised me to think more about the future and the potential needs of our family, I remained firm in my decision. My husband and I had already made plans for our care. We would hire help if we needed it. This way, our children would never feel the burden of caring for us in our old age. For years, our life felt comfortable, as we enjoyed the fruits of our labor. But then, everything changed suddenly. 2 years ago, my husband passed away unexpectedly from a stroke. This devastating loss shattered my world, and with it, I was forced to confront the reality of my loneliness in my advanced years. The once stable and comforting life I had envisioned for myself quickly unraveled. Now, I have come to understand just how deeply some of my past words and decisions have affected my relationships with my family. The foundation of love, warmth, and understanding within a family is far more important than any financial security. I've realized that family bonds cannot be built solely on material wealth. They must be nurtured with emotional connection and mutual care. My son is often busy with work, and my daughter-in-law, understandably, still harbors some resentment over my previous stance. I followed through with my plan to hire help, as we had always intended, but the costs have steadily risen. Living alone in a large house, without the joy and energy of grandchildren's laughter, has left me feeling more isolated than I ever imagined. I now understand, in a way I never did before, That money cannot replace the love and warmth that a close-knit family provides. I now see the truth in the ancient teaching that children are blessings, and family relationships are the most valuable treasures in old age. These words ring truer to me than ever before. I think often of my neighbor, Grandma Bunrian, who would always say, "Being rich or poor doesn't matter. As long as my children are together, I'm happy." At the time, I used to dismiss her words as being old-fashioned or naive, but I now understand the wisdom in her perspective. We work our entire lives to provide for our families, but in the end, the most precious thing we can have is the love, support, and companionship of our children and family. All the money in the world cannot replace the sense of belonging and connection that family offers. Through these experiences, I've learned an important lesson. Never be too sure that you won't need your children. It's easy to assume that you will always be independent, but such confidence can create unnecessary distance. The words we speak, even when meant with good intentions, can sometimes hurt others in ways we do not realize. The relationships we have with our children and family should not be defined by wealth but by love, compassion, and mutual understanding. As I continue on my journey through old age, I have come to deeply appreciate the value of time spent with loved ones. It is not money, but the presence and affection of our family that makes life truly meaningful. I have learned that the most important thing in life, especially as we grow older, is the connection we maintain with those we hold dear. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sentence 2. Tell your children about your financial plans. There's an old saying that goes, "Money is like a double-edged sword. Used wisely, it brings happiness. Used poorly, it brings great harm." Wealth does not necessarily guarantee a harmonious home, just as financial struggles do not automatically mean a lack of love or happiness. What truly determines the strength and warmth of a family is the way relationships are nurtured and maintained over time. As someone over 70 years old, I've lived through countless ups and downs, times of prosperity and hardship, moments of joy and sorrow. Looking back, I can confidently say that the wisdom of past generations holds today. When I was young, like many others, I worked tirelessly to build a stable future for my family. I believed that financial security was the key to happiness. But as the years passed, I learned a crucial lesson. Money is important, but if not handled with care, it can also be the root of division, misunderstanding, and even heartbreak within a family. I recall the story of my old friend, Uncle Prayun, a man whose life became a cautionary tale. He was a hard-working and kind-hearted person, deeply devoted to his children. He spent his youth saving every penny, ensuring that his children received a good education and the best opportunities in life. Even after he retired, he continued to live frugally, believing that his carefully managed savings would allow him to live comfortably and, perhaps, even bring his family closer together. But one crucial mistake changed everything. As he grew older, his health began to decline, and a creeping fear settled in. Who would take care of him in his final years? Uncertain about the future, he gathered his children and revealed his financial plans, explaining that he had a sum of money set aside. He told them that whoever took him in would inherit his savings. His eldest son, Nathout, was the first to step forward, eager to welcome his father into his home. At first, it seemed like a perfect arrangement. But life doesn't always go as planned. In the beginning, things were fine. However, over time, Nathout started making frequent requests for financial assistance. First, it was small things, home repairs, medical bills, and minor expenses. Uncle Prayun, wanting to support his son, gave without hesitation. But soon, the requests grew larger. His son needed money for a business investment, then another, and then another. Each time, Uncle Prayun couldn't bring himself to refuse. Slowly but surely, he withdrew more and more from his savings, until one day, he realized he had nothing left. When the money was gone, Nathout's attitude changed. No longer patient or caring, he became distant, even irritated. Suspicion crept into his mind. Was his father truly out of money, or was he hiding something? The warmth that once existed between them turned into tension. Feeling betrayed, Uncle Prayun sought help from his other children, but they remained silent. From their perspective, their father had already entrusted everything to Nathout. They saw no reason to intervene. In the end, Uncle Prayun found himself completely alone, abandoned at the very moment he needed his family the most. I still remember the sadness in his voice when he confided in me. He said, "I thought that by being transparent with my children about my finances, I was ensuring security and harmony. But instead, it became the reason for my loneliness. I made the mistake of assuming money would bring my family together when in reality, it only drove us apart." His words still echo in my mind, a painful reminder of the reality that financial matters can either strengthen or destroy family bonds. The lesson here is clear. Money is external, but relationships are what truly matter. A well-planned financial future is important, but equally important is the way you communicate it to your family. Retirement is a phase where careful decisions must be made, and one of the most important is how to handle your financial affairs. Do not rush to distribute your savings to your children, even if you have the best intentions. Instead, keep a portion for yourself, not out of selfishness, but to ensure your well-being and to avoid unnecessary conflicts. A secure parent is a source of peace for the entire family. If you find this lesson valuable, leave a comment with the number 2 to share your thoughts. Let Uncle Prayun's story serve as a warning to all of us. Protect not just your finances, but also your relationships. Money should be a tool to support and uplift, not a cause of division and sorrow. When you manage it wisely, you safeguard both your dignity and your family's harmony. Sentence 3. Why can't you be like your siblings? There is an old saying, "A family full of love is a family full of happiness." A home is meant to be a place of warmth and understanding, where each member feels valued and accepted. However, when we hold grudges, dwell on past mistakes, and allow unrealistic expectations to cloud our judgment, we end up building invisible walls between ourselves and those we love. Over time, these walls grow taller, and before we know it, we find ourselves isolated, trapped in the very loneliness we never wanted. At over 70 years old, I have witnessed countless stories of family relationships, some filled with love and support, while others were weighed down by misunderstandings and resentment. Through the years, I have come to realize that in a family, sometimes it is not about who is right or wrong, but about finding a way to love each other despite our differences. One particular story that has always stayed with me is that of my old friend, Thanu, and his son, Bangkong. Their experience taught me a valuable lesson about acceptance, love, and the unintended harm that expectations can bring. Thanu was a man who took great pride in his family, and like many parents, he only wanted the best for his children. However, his love came with conditions. He believed that success was measured by status, wealth, and social recognition. His son, Bangkong, did not fit this mold. Unlike his cousins, who had pursued higher education and prestigious careers, Bangkong was an ordinary young man with simple dreams. He may not have had a high-paying job or an impressive degree, but he was hardworking, honest, and kind. Yet, in Thanu's eyes, none of that was enough. Time and time again, he compared Bangkong to his more accomplished relatives, questioning why he could not be more like them. "Why can't you be like your cousins?" he would ask. "Look at them, they have stable jobs, they earn well, and they make their families proud. Why must you always struggle?" Though these words came from a place of concern, they only deepened the wounds in Bangkong's heart. No matter how hard he worked, it seemed he would never be good enough in his father's eyes. I remember a conversation I once had with Bangkong. He told me, "I've spent my whole life trying to make my father proud. But no matter what I do, it's never enough. He only sees my failures, never my efforts." The weight of disappointment grew heavier with each passing day, until one day, he made a decision. He would leave his hometown and move to Bangkok, hoping that by building a life of his own, he could finally prove his worth. But distance did not heal the wounds between father and son. Every time Bangkok called home, he was met with the same criticism. "Is that all you're earning?" his father would ask. "When will you finally become successful?" Each conversation felt like a sharp knife, cutting deeper and deeper, until eventually, Bangkok stopped calling altogether. The more time passed, the wider the gap between them grew. As the years went by, Thanu grew older. His once strong body weakened, and his once firm voice became softer. But more than anything, it was the silence, the absence of his son, that weighed on him the most. One day, as we sat together, he sighed and admitted to me, "I only wanted my son to have a better life. I thought I was guiding him toward success, but now I see that all I did was push him away." There was sadness in his voice, regret that could not be undone. I don't need him to be a manager or to earn a fortune. I just want him to come back to me. Realizing the mistakes of the past, Thanu took pen to paper and wrote a heartfelt letter to his son. In it, he poured out his regrets, expressing the words he had never been able to say in person. My dear Bangkong, for so many years, I have judged you by the wrong standards. I wanted you to be what I envisioned, instead of accepting you for who you are. I see now that I was wrong. You do not need to be perfect, because, in my eyes, you are already the most admirable child in the world. I only wish for one thing: to see you again and tell you that I love you just as you are. The news story serves as a powerful reminder of the true meaning of family. Love should never come with conditions or comparisons. Parents may believe they are guiding their children toward a better future, but sometimes in doing so, they fail to see the value of who their children already are. A family's strength does not lie in perfection but in unconditional love and acceptance. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sentence 4. Don't bring up the past. There is an old saying, "What's done is done. Let it go with the wind." This simple yet profound wisdom reminds us of the importance of moving forward rather than dwelling on past mistakes, especially within our own families. Rehashing old wounds and grievances does not heal them. It only deepens the divide between loved ones. Families thrive on love, forgiveness, and understanding, not on holding onto past wrongs like weights that burden the heart. At my age, over 70, I have seen and experienced many trials, lifetimes of sorrow, regret, and disappointment. But through all these hardships, I have learned one invaluable lesson. Sometimes, silence and forgiveness are the greatest gifts we can offer to our family. There is no point in reopening wounds that should have long healed. If we are not careful, our insistence on reminding others of past mistakes can drive away those we hold most dear. I remember my old friend, USA, very well. She was an intelligent woman, a dedicated teacher, and a strict mother. Her husband, Chan, was the opposite: gentle, kind-hearted, and loving, though not particularly skilled in communication. Together, they raised 2 sons who had grown up and started families of their own. However, despite their successful lives, their home was often filled with tension whenever they visited. The reason? USA had a habit of bringing up the past, reviving old conflicts that should have been long forgotten. One afternoon, I visited USA at her home, and we sat together drinking tea. As we talked, she suddenly sighed and began recounting old grievances. She lamented how her older brother had wasted their mother's hard-earned money by dropping out of university after just 1 year. She then complained about her younger sister, who had borrowed money when she got married but didn't repay it as promised. Even though her sister's financial situation had improved over the years, USA could not let go of the resentment she felt from that old debt. As I listened, I noticed something heartbreaking. Her children, who had been in the house earlier, had slowly disappeared from the room. Her eldest son, who had been sipping tea quietly, excused himself and stepped outside. Her younger son, who had initially been watching television, lowered the volume and eventually left the house altogether. This was not the first time I had seen this reaction. Her son still visited her out of duty, but there was a noticeable emotional distance between them. They rarely stayed long or engaged in deep conversations. It was as if a wall had formed between them, built brick by brick with every painful reminder of the past that the U.S. refused to let go of. Her husband, Chan, had often tried to reason with her. USA, he would say, bringing up old issues won't change the past, but it will hurt our children. Let it go. But she wouldn't listen. Perhaps she believed that by reminding her children of these past mistakes, she was instilling valuable lessons. Perhaps she thought she was protecting them from making the same errors. But in reality, she was pushing them further and further away. Then, one day, life took an unexpected turn. USA fell seriously ill and had to be hospitalized for several months. During that time, she had ample solitude to reflect on her life and her choices. Though her children ensured she was well cared for, sending money for her treatment and making the occasional visit, the warmth she had once taken for granted was gone. The laughter and lively conversations that once filled their home had faded into silence. There were no long, affectionate visits, no deep discussions at the dinner table. Family meals, once a cherished tradition, had become rare and perfunctory. Lying in that hospital bed, with only her thoughts for company, USA finally realized the price she had paid for her unwillingness to let go of the past. One evening, as I sat by her bedside, she looked at me with weary eyes and said, "I always thought that reminding my children of past mistakes would teach them important lessons, but all I did was drive them away. Now, I just want to see them happy by my side, but I fear it may be too late." Her words weighed heavily on my heart. The wisdom of the ancients holds. A harmonious family brings happiness. Holding on to old grudges does not make us stronger, it isolates us. When we allow past mistakes to dictate our present relationships, we build walls around ourselves, and in the end, we find that we are the ones left standing alone. Life is too short to waste on resentment. If we want to keep our family close, we must learn to forgive, to understand, and most importantly, to let go. The past cannot be changed, but the love we nurture in the present can shape a brighter future for those we cherish. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sentence 5. Harsh words hurt family members. An old saying goes, warm words can drive away the cold of winter, but harsh words can harden the heart for 6 months. Words, though invisible and intangible, wield immense power. They can heal wounds, bring comfort, and strengthen relationships, but they can also inflict deep emotional scars that linger for a lifetime. A single moment of anger or carelessness in speech can create rifts that may never fully mend. Having lived for over 70 years, I have witnessed countless stories that illustrate the impact of words on family relationships. One of the most heartbreaking was the story of my old friend, Grandma Wah. She was a strong and determined woman, yet the harsh words she spoke over the years left irreparable damage within her family. In her younger years, Grandma Wah had a daughter named Mame, who was the youngest in the family. Unlike her 2 older brothers, Mame did not have the opportunity to pursue higher education. After completing elementary school, she remained at home to assist with household chores, while her brothers moved on to further their studies and build successful careers. Because of this, Grandma Wah often viewed Mame as inferior and treated her with less warmth and appreciation. Whenever she was displeased, she would lash out with words that cut deep, saying things like, "You're not as good as your brothers. Others are better than you. You're just a burden." Mame, though deeply hurt, never spoke back to her mother. She carried the weight of those words in silence, internalizing a sense of unworthiness. Despite the pain, she remained devoted to her family, always working hard to care for her parents. Even after getting married, she continued to visit and help as much as she could. However, Grandma Wah's critical nature did not change. She found fault in Mame's husband, comparing him unfavorably to others and lamenting that he had no bright future. These relentless criticisms, like sharp knives, slowly pushed Mame away, creating an emotional distance that neither mother nor daughter could bridge. Years passed, and as old age crept upon Grandma Wah, she found herself feeling increasingly lonely. Her health declined, and she yearned for the closeness she once took for granted. Lying in bed one day, frail and weary, she finally confronted the painful truth. With tears streaming down her face, she reached out to Mame and admitted, "I was wrong. I always believed I had the right to criticize my children because they were mine. I thought my words would push you to be better, but I didn't realize they only hurt you. Now, even though you are here, taking care of me, your eyes no longer hold the same warmth. I can see that I have lost something precious." Her regret came too late. Though Mame still fulfilled her duties as a daughter, the emotional bond between them had been eroded over the years. The damage had been done, and no amount of apology could fully undo the pain that had accumulated over a lifetime. Grandma Wah's story is a painful but valuable lesson, one that reminds us all to be mindful of the words we speak, especially to those we love. As the old saying goes, a family is a place for love, not for arguments or criticism. Harsh words do not improve or inspire. They only create wounds that take years, or even a lifetime, to heal. As we grow older, we come to understand that true wealth is not found in material possessions or the accomplishments of our children, but in the love and warmth that binds our family together. A home filled with kind words and encouragement becomes a haven, a place where hearts are nurtured and relationships flourish. The lesson I want to leave you with is simple but profound. Be mindful of the words you choose. A single harsh remark can leave a scar, while a kind and gentle word has the power to uplift and bring lasting joy. In the end, it is not the successes or failures that define a family, but the love and understanding shared between its members. After hearing these stories and lessons, what have you learned today? Words have immense power. They can either strengthen family bonds or create emotional distance. As we grow older, the way we communicate with our children plays a crucial role in maintaining love and harmony in the family. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What is one lesson from this video that resonated with you the most? What is something you will bring into practice in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's continue spreading love and wisdom to build stronger family connections. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.